Hey everyone, Draker here, and we are here with Game 2 of the ESL GO4 number 39 finals. Tarson did manage to take the win in the first game. And the first game was on map where for some reason I just forgot Steps of War, which I don't think I mentioned in the first video. Now game 2 is going to take place on Desert Oasis. Now I gotta say it was definitely well played here by Tarson, as they both went for massive Marine Marauder balls, and the only game changer which won it for Tarson was that siege tank. Which was able to get the splash damage on Lucifron's army and just demolished all of the defenses. So I'm hoping this game 2 is going to be pretty entertaining. Won't be surprised if we see the same exact setup from both players, as Marine Marauder Ball is fairly common. I am going to speed it up a little bit until we get something going on here. Alright, here we go. Now we have barracks from both players on the way at 12 supply, which is fairly common for starting, and we do have a refinery coming right after that barracks for Lucifron, as well as Tarson getting his refinery too. Now it looks like we have a scout coming on the way here from Tarson, going the long route apparently to Lucifron's base. I don't know why he sent it that way. Now, you can tell that this match, clearly this match was before the patch, as there are no rocks over here. In the patch, if anyone hasn't read the patch notes, this is where the rocks are on Desert Oasis if you haven't played it. Which I think they should have put the rocks here. Would have made more sense, but they chose to put it over here, so yeah, Blizzard just fails. As this tournament was before the patch, so that is why there's no rocks there. Anyways, now we do have Marines are already on the way here for Lucifron. Looks like he rallied them to the SCV from Tarson, which is a pretty good choice of rallying there. Usually people just rally, over by the choke or something, but he rallied right to the SCV. Almost was able to kill the SCV, but the SCV gets away with 9 health. Now we do have Tarson placing some good supply depot placement here on the edges of the base, which can keep an eye on this pathway and for any flying units that come in here. Now we also have a factory going down. I hope he doesn't leave his factory there. I think he only built the factory there so he didn't have to lose time running over here and building it, so he decided to build it right off the bat. Then he's probably going to move it. If he leaves his factory there, then I don't know, that's pretty bad. As you can get like a Raven or something over in the air to keep a high ledge, and they have some Marauders on the ground, just pick that off in no time. So we do have a factory on the way for both teams, as Lucifron is also getting his factory, so we're probably going to see the basic same setup here. 1-1-1 build right to a starport, get some medevacs or some Vikings, and mass Marine Marauders. So we have Snip-Pack also on the way for Lucifron, so he is going to be thinking about massing mass ground units for this match. Now we do have a tech lab on the way for Tarson, most likely on that factory, which it is, and he has a starport getting built right next to this factory. This is pretty poor building placement, I think, so I'm hoping he's going to plan on moving, but he's got the tech lab there, so I don't know what his plan is, as he is now moving the factory over here. Maybe he wants them far away enough from if any scan happens in his base. He wants to keep his opponent in the blue on what he's planning on doing. Which I think is actually, now that I think of it, is probably what he's doing, keeping it far enough away from a scan. Now Tarson is now landing on that tech lab, so we are probably going to see Banshees on the way, as well as some cloak for that Banshee. Now we do have a Hellions on the way for Tarson, which is pretty odd choice of use of units against another Terran, as these Marauders could just pick them off in no time. But we do have a Banshee is now on the way for Tarson, as well as Cloak, so we are going to see that early harass there by Tarson, as he did the first game with that Cloak. So yeah, the Hellions are just about done now. We do have medevacs and Vikings on the way for Lucifron. Very basic, exactly what he did the first game. Now we do have a floating factory. I'm guessing this is going to be a proxy factory. He's probably going to land it right outside the base, most likely maybe over here, as it's actually going directly to the base, as the scan does go down from Lucifron and realize there is nothing right here, as he should have been able to see that starport. as that factory did move from Tarson, as he is now building a tech lab, so he's going to be researching siege tech and build some siege tanks. Now we have Lucifron is going to, looks like, land that factory in the base, and he is. As these Marines are going to see that and go over here and should be able to kill that before anything happens. Now we do have a drop coming over here from Lucifron behind Tarson's base. And he is going to be able to pick off a bunch of those SCVs as he does stim-pack, and he is going to be able to pick off most of these Marines, but not all of them, as he's doing some great lift up there from the medevac, keeping the Marauders alive. Just a couple of seconds more, changing the threat that those Marines had on the target, switching the targets up. So Lucifron is going to be doing some drop tactics here, which is real smart, dropping right behind the mineral line, just keeping on par with Tarson, keeping him in check is what I mean, not on par. Wow, as he's forcing Tarson to pull off a bunch of these SCVs, keeping them from getting gas, which is going to hurt Tarson in the long run, as that one Marauder is left, but is he going to be able to pick off that? No. And he does manage to pick off that Marine, but the Banshee cloaks come in here and just finish off that Marine. Now we still have this floating factory over here. I don't know what his plan is over there, but yeah, freaking, that's a cool looking pet. Rubu, freaking weird. Now it looks like Lucifron is once again going to try landing that factory in the base, as we do have another huge drop coming here from Lucifron. Actually a small drop with just a bunch of medic vacs to try to keep these handful of units alive, as Tarson is forced to pull everything off his mineral line to defend against this. And those Marauders just get chopped and drilled away by those SCVs, as Tarson is now using his siege tank and Marauders to kill this very wasted factory. That's just a waste of gas, and I don't know what the plan was there. I think that's kind of pointless. Now we do have a Banshee, was getting chased by the Viking from Lucifron, but he managed to cloak and run away. So it looks like we do have massive tech labs on the way for Lucifron, so we're probably going to keep seeing massive Marauders and drops right into Tarson's base, which is going to work out for Lucifron. If he can keep the pressure on, it's going to definitely help him, as we do have Tarson is now taking his natural, as he does feel safe. It is pretty far away from Lucifron, as Lucifron is only going to consist on attacking by air, so yeah, he's going to be able to defend that fairly easily. Fairly easy. Don't even know if that made sense. Now we do have Tarson having a good unit composition here. A few siege tanks and a bunch of Marines with a couple Marauders. He just needs to build just a little bigger, and he could probably push out, as there is no wall in here from Lucifron. So yeah, he could easily just push out, siege tank, put the sieges over here, force some armies to come back to the siege tanks, splash damage, kill them, and then push out and siege again and take out those buildings, as Lucifron is now building another drop attack, as Tarson is now transferring some more SCVs, and we do have siege tech is now getting researched from Tarson, as well as more siege tanks getting built. Now we do have Lucifron is now looking to fill up all these medevacs with units, and it looks like he has enough, and he is now pushing out for another drop attack into Tarson's base, but no, he decided to pull back and picked up apparently another unit. As no, he didn't pick up another unit. I don't know what he was planning on doing when he ran back, but he is now coming in behind the mineral line again to do another great harass as Tarson. But Tarson sees that, and he has all his units already waiting. No, he pulls his units back, as a drop is going to come in here, and they are going to be able to kill a bunch of these SCVs, as the stim pack does come from Tarson, and the SCVs are forced to come off the mineral line to deal with this harass from Lucifron, as Lucifron does manage to pick up what's left of his units and get out. So this is great harass here from Lucifron. He's keeping Tarson in check, managed to keep a great harass on this mineral line, killing those SCVs and preventing them from mining, which is what he needs to do to stay in this game, as he did drop his units there just to kill one SCV, which is kind of funny. Now, Tarson is actually going to be pretty safe. Although there is a harass on his main, he still has that natural, which is pretty saturated, incredibly well saturated. So his mineral income is going to be pretty good, as Lucifron now does see that Natural is in play. He does drop all his units, is now pushing out there, but Tarson sees what's coming as the siege tanks are on the high ground, are able to get the siege off. Lucifron does stim pack, and he's going to be able to kill more of these SCVs as Tarson's units do come in here, and Lucifron does lose a medivac with a few units in it, and I don't think, as he barely manages to save one medivac with 4 Marauders in there. If he lost that medivac, that would have been crucial against Lucifron there. I mean, that's a lot of gas and minerals gone in that medivac, as Lucifron is now looking to do another drop with his units. This is great here by Lucifron. He's keeping the pressure on as much as he can, as a little annoyed from losing the first game, as anyone would. Now Lucifron is Tarson does stim pack, and it is causing Lucifron to lose a bunch of these Marauders, but it's not enough against these Marauders. Are able to pick off these Marines as the medivacs are able to heal, as there's a ton of Marines here, as they do get stim pack with the Marauders, and he was able to pick off the rest of the Marauders there from Lucifron. So a little fail harass there from Lucifron. I'd say that was a pretty bad drop point, as I would have probably dropped him behind here again to pick off more of these SCVs, as these siege tanks were able to get a bunch of splash damage on them and basically demolish that army with those Marines. Now Lucifron is pulling back, as he is now working on his command center to take out his natural, as this Banshee from Tarson is keeping an eye on the natural to keep, apparently Lucifron is now going to scout over here.